So we're going to be drawing the text box and text and other stuff. Yeah, I might as well put that. It's an engine. You want to keep that in mind. So we're going to highlight this out, just in case in one project you don't need it to draw itself. You don't want to put it into your game and it brings up an error because you didn't put a sprite on the object, but you didn't want it to draw itself anyways. So we're just going to keep this here because it's an engine. So then if we ever want this to happen on an object we already have drawn, we just simply take this out for that object alone. And here we go. So we'll comment that out. Now what we're going to start doing here is we're going to start drawing background. Of text box. Yeah, why not? So first we need to make sure the conversation is active. So if global.convo equals true and convo equals true, then we will do that. Else, we're going to actually make sure the player is within talk range, right? If he's inside of talk range, then we'll have a button where if he presses it, it will start the conversation, right? All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to be checking if player is within talk range, just like that. Let's go ahead and do we have to? We're going to make it a circle range. So a range that has a radius of a circle, if I said that correctly. Let's do if collision or where is that? Collision circle. And this is going to be at the objects X and Y, which we'll do mx2, right? Yeah, let me try to keep these variables on the screen. That's normally what I do anyways. I end up putting them like in the top right corner, just so then kind of stops us from being confused from time to time. Like, wait a second, what was mx1? Was mx1 the view or was it the current location? You know, all that kind of stuff. So there, now we can see it. mx2. So we're gonna put it at mx2 and my2. Okay, and we're going to use the radius of range, which is supposed to be t range, talk range. All right, and the object is going to be object player, which we did not create. Because of the fact that this is an engine, let's go ahead and just create it real quick. Object player, just like that. Boom, okay. What we're gonna do though, is we're gonna come back into our variables right here, and we're going to make C object, which will be check object. All right, and this is going to equal obj player, just like that. Check object. Object game will check for within talk range. There we go. So you guessed it. Now we simply can do C object, and that just allows flexibility. If you wanted player 2 instead of player 1 for this particular object, or this particular person is talking, you would simply come to their create event and change this to object player 2, just like that. Precise. No, it doesn't have to be precise. Not me. True, it does not need to be me. So if the player is within range, player is within range or talk range. So if the player is within the talk range, now we're going to see if player is trying to talk. So checking if player is trying to talk, or I guess I should say trying to activate convo. And we're gonna do if keyboard check pressed org, and this is gonna be the talk button. Yeah, that's right, because talk button is to start the conversation. start convo. Yeah, I kind of like using comments. Seed combo. There we go. So we're gonna put talk button in here. And because it's a variable, you can simply change it to anything. You can have this person, you press E to talk to. You can have another person, you press Y to talk to, etc. So this is gonna turn global convo to true. So player will stop moving, and then it's going to change the instance variable convo to true. So then the conversation will actually start. So there we have it. Now it's time to actually start putting together how the system will actually operate. And that being said, first thing we need to do is we want to make sure the text box is on top of everything, correct? At least I think that's probably good. So we're going to actually set up the depthness. So we're setting depthness or depth for text box. Okay, we're going to make the depth to equal I'm trying to think of a number that probably no one used, because this is also supposed to be able to be put into any project you're currently working on. So let's go ahead and do 170. There we go, negative 170. That should put it on top of every last thing in your room. If you don't want that, you can simply change that. The next thing we're gonna need to do is set up. We're going to set up the option to do certain things per sentence. Yeah, I guess that would be pretty good. Yeah, okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to make sure we are checking which sentence player is currently reading. The way we're gonna do that is by switching num. All right. So you guessed it. This is actually about to be another one of those things when you create a lot of them, just to do so. So I'm gonna show you how to set it up first, then I'm gonna copy and paste the other into it. Do not worry. I'm not gonna copy and paste anything that you do not need to miss. This is all we're going to do. Okay, we're going to create a highlight that says sentence 1. We're going to create a case, number it 1, put 2 columns, and put a break. I will do it again. Double space it. This one will be sentence 2, comma, a break. And I will do it one more time before I copy and paste the rest of them. Sentence 3, case, break, just like that. Now we're going to do this up to 24 times. All right, so I actually just copied and pasted the remaining up to 42. So that's what you do. You just create sentences up to 42. Now, because of the project that I'm currently working on, which is like a full actual like title game, in that I use the same exact engine that we're making right now, but I think I actually increased to like 45 sentences. So what we're going to actually do for this sake, just in case you decide to have a lot of dialogue, like I decided to put in my game, we're going to create up to 50 of these. Okay. Yes, so I'm gonna have to actually make these a little bit more. What I probably will actually do is just skip ahead in the video for your sake. But I would just highly recommend, because again, you are creating an engine. I can't stress that enough. You want to make sure your engine is set up and you don't have to come back, add more of this just because one of your characters decides to talk a whole bunch and break a whole bunch, and you want to do a whole entire cutscene, because you can literally do a whole entire cutscene through this engine. You don't have to use a timeline. I do not use any timelines in my project that I will start showing little clips of here and there, so do subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that. But I do not use any timeline at all. I just use this, and I didn't have any like very big cutscenes, but I did have like a background change on a certain sentence, certain unlocks that happen when you reach a certain length of the dialogue. You know, I did a lot of that kind of stuff. Pauses, breaks, all that kind of things. Had certain icons appearing per sentence. You know, you can also have someone look angry on one sentence and happy the next sentence. So, you know, hey, again, you just want to make sure the possibility for doing so is there. Sweet. So now our engine can support up to 50 sentences. That's actually extremely great. Extremely great. So let's go back to our create and let's go ahead and knock this up to 50. All right, sweet. So now our characters can support up to 50 sentences, and so can our engine. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is now we're going to start. Well, first let's comment this so that we know what's going on. So down here, I like doing this a lot because it helps me realize where I am inside my code. So what I do is I do ending of checking which sentence player is reading. Boom. So now I know, okay, I'm outside of that program. Cool. So the next part of what we're gonna do is gonna be right here. Okay. And now we're going to set the font, setting up font. And of course, we're going to comment this out because maybe you already have a font inside your game. And again, we're not trying to crash it. We're not trying to have to come into the engine. But if you wanted your text box to have a separate font period, then all you have to do is come into the engine and take these comments out, but it's already set up. Font text box, make a font inside your engine. And the reason why I have another underscore here is because in your game you might already have a font named that. And I'm trying to have to make sure you don't have to go into what you've already done and change things just so that this engine can work. That's not the goal here. The goal is to make it to where you can simply import it into any project you're using and you don't have to worry about changing anything. So now we're going to go ahead and start drawing the background filler. This is going to be a simple rectangle. Let's see. How do you want to do this? We have a few choices here. We can set this up by the view we're using. We can have it set over the character. We can even center it towards the bottom, like a cutscene or something. All right. Let's go ahead and do it where the character is. Why not? So we'll go ahead and do mx2. It's 2. And we'll do minus 200 of the character. Character's x, and my2. We'll have that above the character by 120. And then we'll do mx2 plus. Do minus, because I just remember something. We're going to actually have the text scrolling, and the box is also going to expand depending on how lengthy the text really is, so, or the text highlighting. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it at the X, but we're going to knock it back close to the same range, and we're going to keep a little space in between the text though. So we're going to knock it back to 214. We're going to knock it back to 196. 186 on the x-axis, and my2, we're going to put this at 107 plus, oh, and I actually just missed something too. I kind of forgot about that, but plus the string height, and the string height is going to be the current sentence. There we go. So it's going to be the current sentence, and we need to do that for the x as well. Right here. So we go back and we need to plus this by string, what is it, width? And again, the current sentence that it is on. There we go. Boom. Now, I was actually just about typing this stuff, but I just remembered I actually said that you can change this per person that's talking. Anything that's talking, you can have them have different backgrounds. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back into here and we're going to set up our colors. All right, so let's see, we're doing custom colors. So it's gonna be color 1. Yeah, that works. So color 1. In this case, we'll make that equal. Oh no, what are we gonna do? We're gonna make that equal aqua. All right, and then we'll have C2, which this is going to equal, let's do red. There we go. So now we want to make the colors. You can do this different ways if you want to. Reason why I'm putting it up like this instead of making all of the colors inside of GameMaker to a separate variable is simply so that you can just come into the create event and just change this particular value. Makes it a lot simpler. So we just put C1 there, C2, C3, and then C4. Just like that. And this will not be an outline because this is actually the filler. And now we're going to draw the outliner, which is going to be at the exact location. We can just copy and paste this. And let's just do C black for the outline. And there we go. All right, so now the next part is going to be drawing the actual text. We're going to be drawing the text, and then we're going to be drawing the highlighting text as well. So what we'll do is we'll draw a text here, and we'll do it mx2 minus, we'll leave some room on the left side. So let's do 177, and then we'll do my2 minus, same thing, we'll leave some room too. Let's do 100. Yeah. And then the string that we're going to do is speak the current sentence. There we go. Now we need to drawing, what is it? Highlighting text. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do draw text color. And this is, again, it's gonna be in the same exact location as the normal text. So we're gonna do that. my2 100, and again, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to add string copy. Excuse me. We're going to add strings copy. And the string that we're going to copy is going to be the current sentence. Start it at the beginning, and then we're going to increase it with the scroll text. Boom. All right, and then the color. So you can also have different colors for the scrolling if you want to do that. We're making an engine, so we might as well go ahead and give us the possibility for such. What we're gonna do is it's gonna scroll pretty much one color. So we're gonna do SC1, and that's gonna equal a color. We'll do, in this case, what should we do? Silver, why not? C silver. If you want to. Let's actually make another one, too. And we'll do C white here. Yeah, I was just gonna make one, but I'm not gonna take any shortcuts. So let's see, we might scroll it with silver, white. What else we might scroll with? We might do it green because we're scrolling the text. We might also go ahead and do, why not? We can do teal. Boom. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do S1, SC1, SC2, C3, SC4. And then you just come here and change for what it is you're trying to do. So in this case, we're gonna do white. We're gonna do green second. Then we'll do white. And then we'll do white again. There we go. And everything's already set up. All right, and then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start we're going to set up the possibility for drawing a next sprite. Like when this text is done scrolling, it will have an icon that appear at the bottom right of the box that's like press R or press whatever. So that's what we're going to set up now. We're drawing the next button on screen. So if scroll text is greater than or equal to string length, how to spell that? There we go, length. And we're going to be checking current sentence. Then we're going to go ahead and draw right. Nice. Right. And we'll call this SPR next. Oh, we'll do combo proceed. Zero. We're gonna do this at MX2. Yeah, we had to do it at 2 because that's where the box is. So we're gonna do MX2 minus 186 plus string width, and it's going to be of the current conversation. And then we're going to do my2 minus what is it, 107. And we're going to do this plus the height. Yes. There we go. The height of the current sentence. But we're going to divide it by 1.4. And what that will do is that will put it not directly at the bottom of the box, but it will kind of put it like within the box, kind of like right at the corner, just like that. Now, again, we're going to actually comment this out because you might not have the sprite already created. So that means that you put it into your current project, it will actually crash. But all you have to do is take away these comments and it is active. Just make sure you make a sprite called sprite convo proceed. All right, so now the next thing we need to do is just like in games. If the player actually presses the next button and the text is scrolling, it will just go to the end of the sentence before it actually goes to the next thing. So that's what we're going to do right now. Well, not yet. Actually, first we need to draw the scrolling text. I just realized that. So we're going to be drawing the scrolling text. Highlighting text is really what it is. So if scroll text is less than string length of current sentence, like that, we're going to make scroll text plus equal, scroll timer. Bam, that is awesome. All right, so now the next thing we're gonna do is now we're going to do what I was mentioning earlier. So we're gonna be seeing if player trying to proceed with combo. Yeah. So if keyboard check pressed, it'll be org. What do we call it? Next button. Next button. We're going to see if text is still scrolling. So if scroll text is less than string length of current conversation, we're simply going to make the scroll text equal string length of the current conversation. Else, meaning the text is not scrolling, so that means the player can actually proceed. All this is proceeding to next sentence or hard of convo. So now what we need to do is check if number is less than number max. Then what we're going to do is we're going to increase the current conversation by 1. We are going to scroll the text back to the beginning. And then we're going to need to do some other stuff. So he presses R, right? We're still inside the first part, and we still have more stuff to say because it's less than the max amount of things that we have to say. However, now we need to see, did we reach the break inside the conversation? So that's what we're about to do, right? So we're going to be checking if there is more to this convo, and if player has reached a breaking point. Yeah, I guess that works. So else if convo pard is less than convo pard max, that means there's more to the conversation. We're going to go ahead and increase the convo pard plus 1, and then we're going to go ahead and see, or we're going to create / make the conversation proceed to the next part. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to be creating a break point and or proceeding to next part of convo. There we go. So in order to do that, we're going to switch the convo part. And why am I putting all these comments and stuff in here? Just in case if you're following along, you know, and you're actually doing this stuff as well, then when you're actually done with this video, you don't have to worry about going back and adding comments so that you can remember what this stuff does. It will be pretty much straightforward. So what we're gonna do, but before we do all that, again, we're making an engine, so we're going to create 14 of these. I mean, in my game that I worked on, I haven't even used close to 14. I think the most I used was 7. So we're just going to create an extra one just in case. Again, you have so many parts. You might literally have one object that changes so much. You unlock new parts of this conversation based on how many places you go to. And so you might need more parts to your current convo than I needed. And then again, we are making an engine. So if you know for a fact that your conversation will never go past 2 parts, then you're good with just making 5 or 7. But I still do highly recommend making sure you have room to do more if you ever need to. And after I do share with you how great this engine really is, you might all of a sudden start getting more ideas. And the good part about that is that you already created all this extra room, so you don't have to go back and tweak it, so you can start doing your extra ideas that you just thought of, because you're like, dang, I can do all of this now? That means that one person I had in my game, I can have it to where he changes locations when you reach this level of sentence. And now the player has to go find out, whoa, where did this guy go? And then you go and talk to him, and then after you get to the 15th sentence, which is like the 7th part of the conversation, which means the player talked to him a lot, he all of a sudden disappears. And it starts some timer, or he becomes invisible and he can't be talked to for some time, the alarms automatically is triggered, and then when the alarm hits 0, it starts back the option of the player being able to communicate with this character. Yes, all that is possible with this engine and this engine alone. You don't have to use a timeline, you don't have to use anything else. Now, I'm not saying it's not good to use timelines or anything like that. I mean, I've seen some people actually do some great things with them. I'm just simply saying that this is extremely flexible, extremely great. It takes care of your dialogue, takes care of any secret things that you might want to put into your game or into your conversation, all in one. It is an extremely powerful tool. Now, if you're not typing along and you're like, dang, a lot of this is a lot of stuff to do, and I can't blame you. You know, you have a lot of stuff to work on in your project, and you're just like, dang, do I really have enough time to do all this? Because right now I'm working on all this stuff and I'm working on the story. I get it. Hey, I program a lot too. So because of such, I will actually offer this engine exactly like it is right here, already done, put together, and I'm only gonna charge like $3 for it. Mainly, I'm also trying to raise a little bit of cash too, so that I can continue my project. But hey, if you want to, you can follow along, you can watch the video, you can create it yourself if you want to. Hey, I'm not saying, if you want to support it and kind of help me out with my current project, which I will also be giving some little sneak shots of it as well, some nice screenshots and videos of it, then you can just click the link in the description below, and it should actually take you to a place to where you can check out and buy it. It will be through PayPal. Anyways, back to this tutorial now.